कोरोना वायरस फिर सिर उठा रहा। WHO। कुछ देश महामारी के डेंजर ट्रैक पर, कुछ पर मंडरा रहा खतरा। कई देशों में अब कोरोना वायरस संक्रमण में तेजी देखी जा रही है। कुछ देश खतरनाक रास्ते पर हैं, जहां स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं के कोलैप्स होने की आशंका है। कोरोना वायरस कमजोर पड़ रहा है, कोरोना समाप्त हो रहा है, इस तरह की बातें करनी शुरू कर दी है लोगों ने। लोग लापरवाह भी हुए हैं और पहले जिस तरह की प्रिकॉशंस लोग ले रहे थे वैसा बिल्कुल नहीं ले रहे हैं। लापरवाही बढ़ने से कोरोना मामले में भी बढ़ोतरी होनी शुरू हो गई है। विश्व स्वास्थ्य संगठन की माने तो दुनिया अब कोविड-19 महामारी में एक नाजुक मोड़ पर है और कुछ देश खतरनाक रास्ते पर हैं, जहां स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं के कोलैप्स होने की आशंका है। महानिदेशक टेड्रोस के मुताबिक हम कोविड-19 महामारी में एक नाजुक मोड़ पर हैं। अगले कुछ महीने बहुत टफ होने वाले हैं और कुछ देश खतरनाक ट्रैक पर हैं। WHO महानिदेशक टेड्रोस के मुताबिक हम नेताओं से तत्काल कार्रवाई करने का अनुरोध करते हैं ताकि भविष्य में अनावश्यक मौतों को रोका जा सके, आवश्यक स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं को कोलैप्स होने से बचाया जा सके और स्कूलों को फिर से बंद नहीं करना पड़े। जैसा कि मैंने फरवरी में कहा था, मैं आज इसे फिर दोहरा रहा हूँ, यह एक ड्रिल नहीं है। टेड्रोस ने कहा कि बहुत से देश अब संक्रमण में तेज देखी जा रही है। अब अस्पतालों और ICU फुल हो रहे हैं या कैपेसिटी से ऊपर चले जा रहे हैं और अभी तो अक्टूबर का ही महीना आया है। और WHO महानिदेशक ने क्या क्या कहा, आइए सुनते हैं।
Thank you, Fadila. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. We are at a critical juncture in this pandemic, particularly in the northern hemisphere. The next few months are going to be very tough, and some countries are on a dangerous track. Too many countries are seeing an exponential increase in cases, and that's now leading to hospitals and ICU running close or above capacity, and we're still only in October. We urge leaders to take immediate action to prevent further unnecessary deaths, essential health services from collapsing, and schools shutting again. As I said it in February, and I'm repeating it today, this is not a drill. We're calling on governments to carry out 5 key actions today. First, assess the current outbreak situation in your country based on the latest data you have at hand. Conduct honest analysis and consider the good, the bad, and the ugly. I have a specific message for those countries that have successfully brought COVID-19 transmission under control. Now is the time to double down to keep transmission at a low level. Be vigilant, be ready to identify case and clusters and take quick action. Do not allow the virus to take hold again. Second, for those countries where cases, hospitalizations, and ICU rates are rising, make the necessary adjustments and course correct as quickly as possible. Making changes when needed shows leadership and strength. Third, it's important to be clear and honest with the public about the status of the pandemic in your country and what's needed from every citizen to get through this pandemic together. Fourth, put systems in place to make it easier for citizens to comply with the measures that are advised. This means if people are told to isolate or quarantine or businesses have to close temporarily, governments need to do everything they can to assist individuals, families, and businesses. Fifth, the next few months for many people will be difficult. There are incredible stories of hope and resilience of people and businesses responding creatively to the outbreak, and we need to share this widely. Governments need to carry out the basic steps of speaking to people who are infected with the virus and their contacts and giving them specific instructions on what to do next. If governments are able to hone their contact tracing systems and focus on isolating all cases and quarantining contacts, then mandatory stay-at-home orders for everyone can be avoided. We have seen many times from around the world that it's never too late for leaders to act and turn the outbreak around. Key to a united front against the virus is sharing resources equitably. Oxygen is one of the most essential medicines for saving patients with COVID-19 and many other conditions. Many countries simply do not have enough oxygen available to assist sick patients as they struggle to breathe. I'm going to talk to you about what WHO and partners are doing to fill the global oxygen gap. Estimates suggest that some of the poorest countries may have just 5 to 20% of the oxygen that they need for patient care. Through the pandemic, the demand for oxygen has grown exponentially. Back in June, when there were approximately 140,000 new COVID-19 cases a day, the global need for oxygen was estimated to be approximately 88,000 large cylinders each day across the world. As daily cases rise around the world to over 400,000, the need for oxygen has gone up to 1.2 million cylinders each year, just in low and middle income countries alone, which is 13 times higher. Early in the pandemic, WHO's approach was to scale up oxygen in the most vulnerable countries by procuring and distributing oxygen concentrators. This led to over 30,000 concentrators, 40,000 pulse oximeters, and patient monitors to reach 121 countries, including 37 that are classified as fragile. This includes installing pressure swing adsorption plants, or PSS, that would be able to cover the supply needed for a large hospital and district health facilities in the area. Somalia, Chad, and South Sudan had to rely exclusively on oxygen cylinders from private vendors that are often traveling long distances and come with a high price tag.